Hello, 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 hello. Am I the only person that's not at Trinidad's Carnival? I'm feeling some kind of way. Anyways, thanks for joining me, everyone. So today I decided we're going to be talking about some vocabulary, some fragrance vocabulary. I don't know about you, but when I just got into fragrance, I felt like, I had so much to learn about the different fancy words and, just the basics, the fragrance basics. So I thought I'd jump on and school you a little bit. Anyways, if you're interested, please stay tuned. Okay, so before I get into the vocabulary, I wanted to just introduce myself. My name's Roxanne, and welcome to Roxanne's Retreat. If this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. And if you've been here before, I appreciate you coming back. Definitely appreciate your support. So, before we actually get into talking about the fragrance words, I want to share my lip combo. So, my lip liner today is Teddy. It's another brown by MAC, but it's darker. So it's a darker brown lip liner and it's called Teddy by MAC. So it's darker than chestnut. When I say darker, that's what I'm referring to. There you go. So it's Teddy. And then on my lips, I have this Christian Dior lipstick. And it is like a velvet lipstick. It's 720. I think that's the number. Yeah, it's 720. And it's Icone, Icone. Don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm pronouncing it. So that's a Christian Dior lippy. It's like it looks super red on camera, but it's really like a brick kind of red. And on top of that, come on, close. There we go. Technical difficulties. Because I wanted a little gloss on the lips, I have the Fenty Universal Gloss Balm. Is that what it's called? But it's that shiny Fenty Icon. This was the first one that was released. So this one is the universal one. So this is Fenty Beauty. All right. And scent of the day, we can't forget our scent of the day. Scent of the day is Ruby Red by MAC. No, it's not by MAC because MAC doesn't make, yes, they do make fragrances. But no, it's not by MAC. Lord. Scent of the day is Ruby Red by the House of Oud. Now, this is a ginger floral, so it's a spicy, warm floral. I love ginger in fragrance. So this opens with ginger. There's ginger flower in the middle, and then there's a candied ginger in the base. Sweet, sexy ginger. All right, so that's that. Moving on to vocabulary. Let's go. All right, so let's get into these fragrance words, our fragrance vocabulary. Who feel like they're back in elementary school or primary school? No worries. We have to start somewhere. So the first thing I want to discuss is the EDT. So EDT means eau de toilette, and that's the concentration of perfume oil is basically what it's referring to. So typically an EDT has about 5 to 15% perfume oil concentration. So what that means is that it's just lighter. It's lighter. It's not like a huge performer because it's lighter. It has less perfume oil, so it's not as dense. A lot of brands come out with EDTs and they also have a EDP. So like the one that I can think of is Lieb, YSL Lieb. They have an EDT and they also have an EDP of that fragrance. And it's definitely the difference is definitely apparent. You have the lighter one, and a lot of people wear it like seasonally. So it's basically the same fragrance, but one's lighter and then one's a little, more dense. Next, let's talk about EDP. So EDP means eau de parfum. Don't sleep on your girl's French, you hear? Frenchy, eau de parfum. That sounds so intellectual. Anyway, so that's the next concentration up. That one is usually about 15 to 20% perfume oil. It's one of the most common, like most fragrances, I want to say, come in an EDP concentration, and that one lasts longer than the EDT. It performs a little bit better. And it has less alcohol. So the EDT has probably the most alcohol concentration, the least perfume oil. EDP, you're like right there in the middle. So when you hear EDP, that's what it means. Eau de parfum. That means your perfume oil is about 15 to 20% in that fragrance. So next up, I want to talk about your extrait de parfum. So we said that the EDT has the least amount of perfume oil concentration. The EDP is in the middle, and then the extrait is the dandada. So it has like 20 to 40% perfume oil and a lot less alcohol in that type of fragrance. So when you hear extrait, think more concentrated perfume oil, a lot less alcohol. And typically in like the extrait de parfums, like the one I'm thinking of right now is Baccarat Rouge. Typically in the extraits, depending on the perfumer, of course, and the brand, they might add like an additional note. So for Baccarat, so this is the original Baccarat Rouge 540. This is iconic. If you're really into fragrance, even if you don't like it, you smelled it. I love it. I love it. I'm like just one of those people. I just love Baccarat. And this is the extrait. So this one has more of the oil concentration, and there's an additional note in there. I think it's like an almond, a bitter almond or something. But it still smells alike, but there's just a different vibe because of the additional note, and then there's more oil concentration in that. So this is your original Baccarat EDP, and this is your Baccarat Rouge 540. This is the extrait de parfum. All right, moving right along. How's this school going? I hope you like your teacher. I kind of like her. She can get a little annoying, but she knows some things. Anyway, so let's talk about the different types of fragrances. Like, you hear celebrity fragrance, and it's basically self-explanatory. Fragrances that are, a celebrity had a hand in making it, or they decided to slap their name on it. They decided to just have a fragrance brand. And that's a celebrity fragrance. Those fragrances are typically a lot less expensive. They're a little bit more accessible. So the ones I have here in my collection that are pretty, I think they're pretty known. The first one is Ariana Grande's Cloud. It's so pretty. The bottle is a little juvenile for my taste, but it's a really nice, pretty fragrance. So Ariana Grande, everybody knows who she is. She's a singer, and that's one of her fragrances. So this is a celebrity fragrance. I also have Jessica Simpson. Yeah, it's Jessica Simpson's Fancy, and it's pretty. Like, you can get these things on, I think I got mine from Amazon. Yeah, this is a really nice caramel fragrance, Jessica Simpson Fancy, and it's a pretty bottle. And the other one I have, I don't like the bottle, but I like the fragrance. This is Riri's Rebel Fleur. Riri and her Rebel Fleur. I don't know. The bottle is supposed to be something, I don't know. But anyways, the fragrance is very pretty. Got this for Christmas. So yeah, that's what celebrity fragrances are. They're just celebrity's name that's on it. Like, a lot of celebrities have fragrances. Beyonce, Kim Kardashian, the list goes on and on and on. Britney Spears. So yeah, celebrity fragrances, usually a little less expensive, more readily available. And yeah, I have some, but I really don't have that many. But they're good. Some of them are. Next up, let's talk about designer fragrances. And in my opinion, those are the most popular. Those are the most mass appealing fragrances. A lot of them smell alike. But designer fragrances are basically from designer houses. So typically it's designers that make other things. They're not really known for fragrances. So for instance, one of my favorite designer fragrances is from Louis Vuitton. And of course, obviously I like it. Look at my, he nearly done. So it's a Louis Vuitton fragrance. And this one is called Spell on You. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's so feminine. It's like it's so sweet and pretty. Anyways, this is it's called Spell on You. It's from Louis Vuitton. And of course, We know that Louis Vuitton is known for purses, etc., but they do carry fragrances. So that's what I mean by a designer fragrance. Other designer fragrances are like my Valentino Donna Born in Roma, another favorite, bourbon vanilla sweetness. And then right here I have from Givenchy, and this is L'Interdit. This one's not for everybody. This is L'Interdit Rouge. It's very spicy. Yeah, it's different. It has like a sesame note or something like that. But this, again, Givenchy is known for all the high-end designer things, and they also have fragrances. And the other one I have here is from Chanel, and this is Coco Mademoiselle. Again, Chanel is known for all different things, but they also carry fragrances. So when people speak of designer fragrances, that's what they mean. Now, some designers have fragrances that they have like private blends or special ones. The one that I can think of right now is Christian Dior. I don't have anything from the Christian Dior private blend collection. I haven't really smelled any of it, but one day. So they have like regular fragrances, Dior, like, you've heard of Dior Hypnotic Poison. And it's usually a little bit more complex. So designer fragrances on a whole, right? They're typically, mid-priced. They're a little less complex. They're more crowd-pleasing, more people-pleasing, and, again, very readily available. You could walk into Macy's, Ulta, Sephora, Nordstrom, Saks, anywhere, and you could put your nose on a designer fragrance. So those are what designer fragrances are. All right, so next up, we're going to talk about niche fragrances. So niche fragrances are sold by companies that primarily focus on fragrance. That is what they do. Niche fragrances are usually a little bit more complex, typically, not all the time. They're typically more expensive. Depending on the house, it's typically harder to obtain those fragrances. Now, in the US, there's a lot of, niche fragrances that are readily available at the high-end stores. However, there are some fragrances that you couldn't get here. You have to get it online, straight from Italy or wherever. So some niche fragrances that I love, fragrance houses that I love. Of course, I was going to say it, Bond Number 9, and this is Bond Number 9 Tribeca. Oh, besides loving the bottle, the juice, baby. So Bond Number 9 is a niche fragrance house. They basically make fragrances. That's their focus. So that's what they do. And their fragrances are not always very, crowd pleasing. You have to have what I consider a more mature nose, because there's some niche fragrances that I'm like, oh my gosh, what's in here? But typically they're blended really well. They're not as sharp, etc. So Bond Number 9. The other one that I love, the other niche house that I love is Parfums de Marly. This is Parfums de Marly Athalia. I had to think for a second. I love the black bottle. It's so sexy, and the tassel. Now, Athalia looks like she's a big, bad, bad girl. But actually, the fragrance in here is just really, it's just bossy. It just smells bossy. That's Parfums de Marly, and I love the bottles. The other niche house that I enjoy is Xerjoff, and this is from their Casa Marati line, and this is Dama Bianca. This is a really, really, oh my gosh, pretty, pretty, pretty vanilla fragrance. And I like the bottle. And this, like Xerjoff, for instance, they have different lines in their fragrance collection. And this is, like I said, the Casa Marati line. And then there's the Shooting Stars line that has a different shape bottle, etc. Why is my tassel behaving like this? Oh, come on, Dama. Anyways, yeah. So those are some of the niche houses that I like, and of course, I talked about it earlier. Maison Francis, Kirk de Jean. That's another niche house, and of course, known so much for Baccarat Rouge 540. So that's what niche means. Typically, niche is more complex. Typically, niche is more expensive, and typically, depending on the niche house, it's a little less readily available. So that's it. Designer, niche, celebrity. Now you know. All right, more words, more words. So the next word we want to talk about is ciage. So, you're walking down the street and, you're wearing something, oh, so delectable. And when you walk by, you leave a trail, you leave a scent trail. And that's what referred to as ciage. Ciage means wake in French. Yes, I Googled it. Duh. But anyways, so if you hear someone speaking about the sillage is wonderful, that means that's your scent trail. So when you leave the room, whatever is left back there, that's called your sillage. So I mean, people that are fragrance fanatics, they love having an amazing sillage. There's also a fragrance house called the House of Ciage, and they are known for their little cupcakes. So this is one of the cupcakes from the House of Ciage. This one is called Benevolence. So you open it like this. Oh yes, sweet, sweet, sweet. I like sweet perfumes. I love them. So yeah, so this is from the House of Ciage, and like I said, Ciage just means your scent trail. That's what it is. So when you hear the word Ciage and someone's saying, "Oh, the Ciage is amazing," that's all. It's just a scent trail. Now you know. Okay, so we talked about sillage, so now we're going to talk about projection. And basically, projection is just how far out the fragrance goes. So, when people are talking about sillage and projection, sillage is what you left behind. Projection is when you walk into the room, how far off does that scent go? So, when people say things are like you wear it closer to the skin, that means the projection is not that great. If they say, you could smell it, less than 6 feet away, it's moderate. I mean, if you walk into the room and someone in the back of the room can smell it, you're not sillage, your projection is amazing. So that's what it is. It basically means how far the fragrance pushes out. What I've learned is that fragrances that are extract, so the ones that have more oil concentration, the projection is usually not as good. But the fragrance is still stronger, meaning it still lasts longer because it's an extract. But because there's less alcohol, it doesn't like whoosh out into the atmosphere. So, depending on what you prefer, that's basically what projection means, how far it goes out into the world. Next up, let's talk about longevity. Basically, it means the same thing in fragrance. How long does the fragrance last on skin? Well, skin, clothing, it depends. So, yeah, basically that's it. How long does it last? Now, we always speak about, or you hear people speak about how to make your fragrance last longer, how to increase the longevity of that fragrance. A lot of the times we talk about layering, we talk about moisturizing, because if you moisturize, there's more for that fragrance to hold on to. If you layer it with something like a lotion or something that smells similar, it helps with the longevity, etc. So yeah, that's what longevity means. Just like with every other thing, it's just how long that fragrance sticks around on your skin. Now, when people say beast mode longevity, that means you're getting 10, 12 hours of wear. And I do have some fragrances in my collection that do that for me. The one that I can think of is Madison Avenue by Bond Number 9. I love that thing that it just works and works and works. It's like work, 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 work. Yep, that's what my Madison Avenue does on me. 10 to 12 hours, no problem. Delina Exclusive, another beast mode in terms of longevity. Again, if you moisturize, you usually, really, really increase the longevity. Just keep in mind though, even though Madison Avenue lasts 10 hours on my skin, that doesn't mean it's going to last 10 hours on your skin. Fragrance is subjective. Everything has to do with everybody's chemistry. It depends on what you eat, how much water you drink, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's what longevity is. All right, so let's talk flanker. So I know you're like, flanker, what is a flanker? So basically, a flanker of a fragrance is just a newly created fragrance that kind of shares the same attributes of the original. So, you've heard it time and time again if you are into fragrance or if you're getting into fragrance and you're like, what is that? That's how I felt. I was like, flanker, what is it? So anyways, I have examples of flankers here. So the ones I have here is the Burberry Her. So Burberry Her, this is the Burberry Her original. So this is the original Air de Parfum. This one is always compared to Baccarat Rouge. I think the opening is a little similar, but that strawberry, oof, that's very, very pretty in here. So this is the Burberry Her original. I have the Burberry Her Blossom. So this one is just a little bit more floral. And with flankers, they usually tweak it. They add something, they take something out, and that's how a flanker is created, really. So it shares the same DNA, but they did something different and they name it something different, so it becomes a flanker. And then I also have the EDT, which I don't have with me now, and I also have the Burberry Her Intense, which is another flanker. But my favorite flanker of the Burberry Her line is the newest one, Burberry Her Elixir. Oh, Lord. That is so pretty. Just like, take in the bottle for a minute. Take in the bottle for a minute. Un momento. Look at the bottle. This is the Burberry Her original, but it's fluffier. It's sweeter. Oh, this is my favorite flanker. So that's what flanker means. It's just like another perfume that's created. It's almost like the original one, but there's something different. I have another couple flankers here. So this one is Jimmy Choo, I Want You. I have mixed feelings about this fragrance. It doesn't last on me at all. It does not last on me. It's like a pear forward. The bottles are cute, and also the name Jimmy Choo, I Want You. I Want You. So this is the original. And this is the newest. This is the flanker. And this is the Jimmy Choo, I Want You Forever. Now, this one is deeper, darker, sexier. And this one lasts on my skin. So, and these bottles, like, how many times you went into the store and do this on the people thing? Mash up the people bottle. No, this is how it works. Jimmy Choo, I Want You. Ooh-wee. Oh, deliciousness. So yeah, that's another example of a flanker. Jimmy Choo, I Want You original EDP, and then this is the newest Jimmy Choo, I Want You Forever EDP. Flanker, sister, cousin, whatever. And then the other group of flankers I have here is C from Armani. So this is the original C. I love these. But this is the original C. It's like a black currant. It's delicious. Then you have the C Intense. I got this for Christmas too. I think this is probably one of my favorites in the line that I own. So that's C Intense. So it's stronger. The black currant in this is a little bit more syrupy. So it's just a denser flanker than the original. This one right here is discontinued, but you can still find it on the gray market like Fragrance Net sometimes. Well, that's how you find it. But this here right here, this is C Fiori. Now this is the most powdery, innocent fragrance. These are all flankers. Like I said, this is the original, and then this is the intense version. This is C Fiori, and they also have one in a red bottle. C Passion, that's what it's called, C Passion. I don't own that one, but I like the bottle, it's red. So anyways, that is what flanker means, just really a sister, a cousin of the original. Typically, they either intensify a note, they either, they tweak it in some way, shape, or form so that it still has the same DNA, but it smells a little bit different. Flanker, now you know. Last but not least, let's talk dupes. So when you hear someone say that's a dupe, basically it's a duplicate. It's a clone. So it's a fragrance that smells either close to another fragrance that was created on purpose to smell like that, I would say. Sometimes that's not the case. They don't create it on purpose, but it just happens to be something that smells similar to the original. So one of the most duplicated or cloned fragrances is Baccarat Rouge 540. There are so many dupes or clones out there. I myself prefer the original. Like Zara has one called Red Temptation. There are tons and tons of dupes because guess what? The only time people really try to duplicate you is because you are amazing. And that's what happens with Baccarat. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, it's overplayed. Too many people have it. Just keep in mind, nobody could rock it like you rock it. So even if the girl don't they have it and she have it and that doesn't mean it's going to smell like that when it's on them the way it smells on you. Anyway, so that's what dupes are. I am really not into dupes. I don't know. It's kind of like bootleg. Yeah, I'm not into bootlegging. Like I don't like bootleg movies. I just like to support the original art form. Now, to each its own. That I'm not saying that I'm too good for dupes because that's not the case. I'm just saying that I just prefer the original. The dupes, of course, most of the times they're a lot less expensive. So if you don't want to drop the $325 for Baccarat, there's some dupes out there for like $50. So, and there are some fragrance houses that's all they do. They create dupes to fragrances that are already on the market. Typically, in my experience, when I've smelled a dupe of a fragrance, it's especially a fragrance like Baccarat or Delina, it's just that it's not as well blended. There's always something sharper. It's just not the original. But if you hear that, dupes, clones, that's what it means. Exactly what it says. It's a duplicate. Sometimes it's on purpose. Sometimes it's not. But it's a fragrance that smells like another fragrance. All right, students. So we've come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And once you subscribe, please remember to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every single time I upload. Please like, comment, subscribe. Drop me your scent of the day if you're wearing a scent of the day. Let's talk about it. Any questions you have about words that you've heard about fragrances that I may be able to answer, put it down in the comments. Let's chat. Again, thank you for stopping by Roxanne's Retreat. Take care of yourself. Bye.